It's Nolan. Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show. There's a reason rappers can turn any story into a hit track. Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm with over 1,000 attorneys and more than 100 offices nationwide. If you've been seriously injured in an accident, your case could be worth millions. But the truth is, a lot of people either don't file at all or get taken advantage of by insurance companies. When you hire Morgan & Morgan, it's like hiring a legal army that has your back. If you're injured because of someone else's negligence, you deserve to be paid. No shortcuts, no lowball offers. In fact, they've secured some major verdicts in the past. For example, in Florida, they got a victim who was in a life-altering car crash, $12 million. 34 times the highest insurance offer. They got another victim in Philadelphia, $26 million. 40 times the highest insurance offer. Not all law firms are created equal. Morgan & Morgan is the biggest for a reason. They will fight for the biggest award possible and have won a lot. So if you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless you win. That's right, no upfront costs. They only get paid if you get paid. You can start your claim now by clicking the link in the description or by scanning the QR code on screen from your phone's camera. Again, if you find yourself injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Don't say I never told you nothing, man. What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody's doing well out there this afternoon. Y'all know why we're here. In this video, we're going to be getting into Megan Thee Stallion versus Milagro, and Megan Thee Stallion has come out victorious in this defamation lawsuit against Milagro Cooper, aka Milagro Gramz. All right, this has been a long time coming. The lawsuit was originally filed over a year ago, and it has been crazy ever since. We've been covering it over here the entire way since it was originally filed, up to the amended complaint, up to everything. You know what I'm saying? The discovery phase, all of the deleted messages, all of the stuff that was submitted into evidence from the live streams, the audio, everything that was already publicly available, the witnesses, the depositions, everything was covered on this very channel as much as we possibly could. The only time that we got a little bit behind was in the actual trial, as I was not able to be there to cover it, in the field. But now it's over with, or at least it seems to be over with, right? Megan Thee Stallion did come out victorious, as I just stated. Milagro was found liable on all three counts. However, I do believe that they are waiting on the judge and her final determination on Milagro's media status. The jury found her liable as a media defendant, right? Only thing is, if Milagro is indeed a media defendant, I'm seeing some talk about whether or not the defamation count will actually stick. At this current point, I believe that it was ordered and judged that Milagro will have to pay Megan Thee Stallion $75,000. This is exactly what I was talking about before. I saw somebody in the comments, shout out, I think it was Texas Chick, who said that Milagro needed to be, ordered to pay $2 million or more. I said, I don't think it's gonna be $2 million. But honestly, I thought it was gonna be more than 75K. I would have thought 150K or something, at least six figures. But at this current time, it's 75,000. Okay, now I don't know if there's going to be a gag order placed on Milagro moving forward, if she's going to be, barred from talking about Megan Thee Stallion. I don't know if there's going to be, I don't know, to be honest. All I know is that Megan won, which is the ultimate point of the video and point of what this trial was all about. But I am curious how this is going to look moving forward. I got to be completely honest. I got to be fully transparent. This doesn't seem like the victory that one would have projected. I'll say that much. You know what I mean? So I'm over here on Megan Cuniff's page. Megan Cuniff is one of the last standing who still remained in the courtroom today at the federal courthouse in Miami to actually cover the verdict and get the final ruling on what was to come. LaJanae, the docket diva, was also there, and Pam Esquire. I will be covering all three of them in this video. So shout out to y'all for sticking it out and staying until the final chapter. So here we've got a quote that says, "I'm just happy that's Megan Thee Stallion as she leaves the Miami federal courthouse after a jury found online streamer Milagro Cooper liable for defaming her, promoting a fake sexually explicit video of her, and intentionally inflicting emotional distress by coordinating with Tory Lanez." Even coordinating with Tory Lanez. Damn. Not that we didn't know, but I was very curious on how the jury was going to look at it. So here's video of Megan leaving.
I'm just happy.
Oh, shit.
Celebrate, Megan. $75,000 in all.
Hey, man, get the fuck out of here.
I'm just happy.
I'm sure Megan wanted to say fuck no, but, you know, they already tried to use her words against her for speaking to the media last week. So she wasn't going to give them no extra shit. She said she's just happy. They say, how you going to celebrate? They're going out to eat. Boy, I know it would have took everything out of me. If I was T. Ferris, like, Megan, I got this shit. Fuck out. Get the fuck out the way, okay? Roll your camera. We really don't want you rolling the goddamn camera. All right? But get your footage and get the fuck out the way. God damn it. Hell no, 75K ain't enough. But that's what it is. At this current time, that's all that's coming. And we'll see if Megan even receives it. But again, this was done off the principle. It's really nothing that Milagro could possibly pay Megan Thee Stallion that would appease her monetarily. This was about the principle. This was about, I'm going to get your ass for playing with me. And she has been. Now, furthermore, for the coverage from Megan Cuniff, she says a jury has found Milagro liable for defaming Megan Thee Stallion, intentionally inflicting emotional distress by coordinating with Tory Lanez, and for promoting the deepfake video. They gave mixed answers as to the media questions, but concluded that yes, Milagro qualifies as media. Why she qualifies as media? But that's the conclusion they came to. She says again, that was yes. She's liable for all three claims, though if judge agrees with media ruling, the defamation claim will be dismissed because Megan's lawyers did not serve Milagro with prior notice before suing. Now, prior notice can look like we've talked about it. Perhaps a DMCA takedown where you say something that is perhaps defaming or disparaging or hurtful or patently false, and you send somebody a DMCA takedown, or if they copyright, if they use something that you've copyrighted, you can reach out. You can hit them with a cease and desist, saying, "Hey, either remove this this coverage or footage or whatever it is, or we will move forward with a lawsuit." Right? So Milagro was never formally warned. Megan warned online, but she did not formally warn her, right? So that could end up being a problem as to defamation in the future. As of right now, defamation still stands. But again, it seems to have a shaky foundation as far as the Florida law and all of this stuff is concerned. Damages are small, $75,000, including punitive. So that all inclusive, $75K? Fuck. Jury is being polled now. She be putting some irrelevant shit in here. I don't know why she be so eager to mix irrelevant shit. Fuck this treat right here. Judge Altanega entered the final judgment today, reflecting the jury verdict. But as she said, there are foundational post-judgment issues that will be briefed. I expect a final ruling from her on the media defendant question because, again, what's going on? Now, as we just ran through Megan Cuniff's coverage, this is the coverage from Docket Diva, a.k.a. LaJanae. She says, Docket Diva breakdown, what this verdict actually means. The jury found Milagro liable on all claims. That includes defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress, coordinating with Tory Lanez, promoting the deepfake video. 2, the jury also said she counts as media. This surprised people, but here's the key. Being media gives protections, but those protections disappear if the judge rules she's not media. So media defendant from the jury didn't save her, not yet. 3, the jury didn't agree every question about the media status, and that's normal. They still reached a legal classification. The judge is polling them to confirm each juror stands by their vote. The verdict stands unless polling reveals an issue. She continues, the judge hasn't made a final decision on whether Milagro counts as media. She told the lawyers to brief it, which means each side now has to file written legal arguments laying out why she should or shouldn't be considered media under the law. I find this piece to be very interesting because now lawyers on both sides are still going to be working to win over the judge. What the hell? Once the judge reads those briefs, then she'll make the final call. She comes back and says, important to note that a final judgment reflecting today's ruling had been entered. What that ruling is, we'll have to see. Let me see if there's any paperwork that's been submitted. Probably not yet. All right, so here we have the official verdict form because I need to see some actual paperwork here, man. Y'all niggas, y'all did y'all best. All right, so shout out to Megan Cuniff, shout out to LaJanae, Docket Diva. So this is the official verdict sheet. Megan Pete, plaintiff versus Milagro Elizabeth Cooper, defendant, verdict form. In answering the following questions and filling out this verdict form, you are to follow my final instructions and any instructions provided in this verdict form. You're to answer. Each of the following must be unanimous. We, the jury, unanimously answer the questions submitted us as follows. So, do you find by preponderance of the evidence that Ms. Cooper is liable to Ms. Pete for defamation per se by accusing Ms. Pete of perjury, a felony, by lying under oath in a criminal trial when she asserted that 1, Ms. Pete was a non-credible witness? I could go down the list of all the different shit that was not true and asked, was Megan Thee Stallion caught trying to deceive the courts again? They said yes. All right. So they all agreed that Milagro did imply that Megan lied under oath in court. Question number 2. Do you find by preponderance of the evidence that Ms. Cooper's defamatory statements caused Ms. Pete actual damages? Yes. Question 3. During the time period when the statements were made, do you find by preponderance of the evidence that Ms. Cooper provided disinterested and neutral commentary rather than advocacy for a particular client or personal interest? So they said no, they did not find that she was disinterested and neutral. Question 4. During the time period when the statements were made, do you find by a preponderance of the evidence that Ms. Cooper regularly disseminated news or information to the public rather than making an isolated or one-time publication? When I read this question the other day, I told y'all that was going to be a tough one. They said yes. So they did find that she disseminated news or information to the public rather than making isolated or one-time publications. And we knew that she did not just do one-time publications. She did cover other topics. But I would think there was definitely some isolated pieces in there. But again, they found it to be yes. Question 5. During the time period when the statements were made, do you find by a preponderance of the evidence that Ms. Cooper impartially disseminated information rather than acting primarily to promote her business, products, or services? They said no. So although they felt that she did disseminate news, they did not feel that her version of news was impartial. Question 6. During the time period when the statements were made, do you find by preponderance of the evidence that Ms. Cooper operated for the purpose of informing the public about matters of public concern through news reporting, analysis, or commentary? They said yes. Okay? So that's where they voted, that she is indeed media. Number 6 was to the nature of news reporting, analysis, or commentary. Question 7. During the time period when the statements were made, do you find by a preponderance of the evidence that Ms. Cooper functioned in a similar manner to traditional news media, such as newspapers, magazines, television, radio, or their online equivalents? They said yes. Now, I find it very interesting that on question, was it 5? They say that she impartially disseminated information. Hold on. No. My bad. That Ms. Cooper impartially disseminated information rather than acting primarily to promote her own business. They said no. So they felt like she was being impartial. That's strange. But that's the jury. Good thing I scrolled back up there. So they felt like she was not impartial, despite defaming somebody along the way, intentionally. And y'all found that she worked in tandem with Tory Lanez. Oh boy. Hey, that's the jury's thoughts. During the time period when the statements were made, we already read that one. Question 8. Considering your answers to questions 3 through 7 together, do you find by preponderance of the evidence that Ms. Cooper should be treated as a media defendant? With regard to the statements made in this case, they said yes. Count 2. Do you find by preponderance of the evidence that Ms. Cooper intentionally or recklessly engaged in extreme and outrageous conduct toward Ms. Pete? They said yes. Do you find by a preponderance of the evidence that Ms. Pete suffered severe emotional distress as a result of Ms. Cooper's extreme and outrageous conduct? They said yes. I would love to know how many media defendants participate in outrageous conduct. Count 3, promotion of an altered sexual depiction. Do you find by a preponderance of the evidence that Ms. Cooper willfully and maliciously promoted, without Ms. Pete's consent, a visual depiction of Ms. Pete that she knew or reasonably should have known was an altered sexual depiction? They said yes. Damages. Now, this is where things get a little tricky, because where they got these numbers from, I can't tell you, but they're numbers nonetheless. Question 12. Do you find by preponderance of the evidence that Ms. Pete should be awarded compensatory damages against Ms. Cooper for defamation per se? They voted yes. If your answer is yes, in what amount? So they all collectively came up with $15,000. Why? I don't know. I can't answer that question. Please don't ask me. Please don't ask me. If you answered yes to the questions, proceed. Do you find by preponderance of the evidence that Ms. Pete should be awarded compensatory damages against Ms. Cooper for intentional infliction of emotional distress? They said yes. If your answer is yes, in what amount? $8,000. So 15 plus 8, that's 23. Do you find by a preponderance of the evidence that Ms. Pete should be awarded compensatory damages against Ms. Cooper for promotion of an altered sexual depiction? Yes. In what amount? 50,000. So the strongest damages were for spreading of the deep fake. So they put $50,000 for that. Okay? So that's $73,000. If you found for Ms. Pete on the defamation claim at question 1, do you find by a clear and convincing evidence that punitive damages are warranted against Ms. Cooper on Ms. Pete's defamation claim? They voted yes, but they said $1,000, one rib. Wow. You might as well have said no, goddamn. Regardless of what your answer is, question 16, if you found for Ms. Pete on the intentional infliction of emotional distress claim at questions 9 and 10, do you find by clear and convincing evidence that punitive damages are warranted against Ms. Cooper on Ms. Pete's intentional infliction of emotional distress claim? They said yes. If your answer is yes, in what amount? They said $1,000 for intentional infliction of for purposeful emotional distress, an award of 1,000 buckaroos. Florida jury, ladies and gentlemen. Florida jury. Now, let's get to Rolling Stone. We're on Rolling Stone here. And they've got some interesting information here. And we'll see if it holds true. Because things could escalate from here. Because don't forget, Megan Thee Stallion still has the opportunity to get those legal fees. And those legal fees is where things can hurt. Because remember, her legal team is Quinn Emanuel and Sullivan, Urquhart and Sullivan, which is the same law firm that Alex Spiro works for. It same legal team that Roc Nation consistently employs. And they are not cheap. Although there was a lot of questionable activity that people definitely pointed out during this trial, they are not cheap. So on Rolling Stone, they say jurors handed Megan Thee Stallion a sweeping victory Monday in her defamation lawsuit against Milagro Gramz, the blogger she accused of coordinating with Tory Lanez to spread hateful rumors and promote a deepfake pornographic video featuring the Lovergirl rapper without consent. After 2 days of deliberations, jurors in Miami federal court found Gramz liable for defaming Megan, intentionally inflicting emotional distress, which is only worth $1,000 in the state of Florida, by this jury, by coordinating with Lanez and boosting the reach of the sexual explicit deepfake video, Rolling Stone confirms. The jury awarded the musician born Megan Pete $75,000 in damages, as we just covered, under Florida law. Cooper's liability for the video's promotion also puts her on the hook for Megan's legal fees, which are expected to top $1 million, according to a source. Now that could be quite substantial. And it's already been determined by the judge prior to trial that Megan Thee Stallion would be able to seek legal fees if she were to win. In a notable twist, the jurors found that Cooper should be treated as a media defendant, but they also found that she was not neutral. If the judge upholds Cooper as a media defendant, the defamation count will ultimately be dismissed. In their verdict, the jurors awarded compensatory damages of $15,000 for defamation, and if somehow that $15,000 comes off, it ain't gonna really fucking matter, because how much money is this shit anyway, unless the legal fees are awarded. But it's possible, I guess, the 15 could come off. $8,000 for emotional distress and $50,000 for the promotion of the altered video. They added in $1,000 in punitive damages for the defamation and $1,000 for emotional distress. In her lawsuit over several days on the witness stand in Miami, Megan claimed Cooper and Lanes, whose legal name is Daystar Peterson, maliciously spread rumors about her as retribution for her testimony against Peterson. Megan said the online vitriol pushed her to the brink. She did not allege that Cooper created the deepfake video, but jurors saw evidence that Cooper liked the video on her Mob's World account on X on June 8th and then urged her followers to go to my likes where it was viewable. So there's that. I know it's not me, but to be in front of everybody else and they have to watch it, it's really embarrassing. Megan testified on November 20th, according to NBC News. Megan claimed Cooper knowingly amplified the reach of the fake video online, causing her severe emotional distress. Another quote, "To this day, I feel like a little defeated," Megan told the jury, because no matter if the video was fake or not, Cooper wanted it to be real. She said Cooper's alleged harassment created a space for a lot of people to come speak negatively about her, according to ABC News. She said Cooper calling her a liar, a professional victim, and mentally unstable took a serious toll. Megan's close friend T. Ferris reportedly testified that after the video spread online, the rapper's mental health plummeted, and she sought help for depression at a therapy center that cost $240,000 per month. I felt like nobody cared that I was shot, Megan testified. I know everyone was making jokes about it. She described feeling so despondent at one point, she questioned the value of her life, which we're very much aware of. It's just crazy, man. But unfortunately, that's where we're at. We'll just have to see how things go in the quest for legal fees at this point, because we already see from what the jury awarded on their terms, pretty underwhelming. Just taking a quick glance over here at Milagro's current page, Milagro Press. As you can see, she's got me blocked, and that's okay. But she's got a tweet here after the verdict was announced. She says, "New media is here. Amen." So despite taking that L in court and the punitive damages and all being awarded to Megan in $75,000, she feels very confident. She feels very happy about being classified as media. Therefore, her assertion of new media in her mind has been confirmed. Now, ain't that something? She comes back about 15 minutes ago. And once again, thank you to every person that supported me. I love you forever. Mob reign supreme. Hashtag People's Champ. So these are the words of Milagro within the past hour after the verdict has been handed down. We shall see what that means for her moving forward in terms of how she handles her content. Because remember, Megan's attorney during the trial actually questioned her about this assertion of new media and what new media entails. Is there going to be rules, regulations, journalistic integrity, and all of those different things that need to be upheld? She agreed that there needed to be a certain level of liability and responsibility that comes with that. We shall see if she's willing to uphold those moving forward. So that's what I got for y'all at this current time. I was going to watch Miss Pam Esquire, but I think I've obtained all the information that I need. It would just be overkill because we're really going in circles with the same amount of information. Everybody's kind of repackaging and repurposing the same news, the same updates. Everybody is pretty much just as confused as the next. So no reason in drawing this out, making it longer. Let me know what y'all think of this down below in the comments. Megan Thee Stallion has been proven victorious again. She has not taken a loss in the courtroom yet. So that line about being Teflon Don in the courtroom still holds true. But we're just going to have to see if those legal fees do get tacked on, which would be very substantial margins. Okay? I will catch y'all on the next one. Y'all be good out there. Be sure to like and share this video on your way out. I'll see y'all on the next one, man. Peace. Yeah, family over Yeah, the glory of living righteous is setting in. My street knowledge and education's a perfect blend. Young mogul, independent, I've been setting trends. The first one from my family to be faithfully wed. Fuck niggas and the horses that they riding on. I see this shit from all angles like a polygon. I'm never politicking, the drama be piling on. Father and greats unacknowledged like I'm Bobby Bonds. Conversation with my lady about the paper route. 5 sit bank accounts, every day I make it count. They down talking my commentary for hating now. Well, I can take it cause I'm bodying your favorite now, please. I can do this shit in my sleep. I been writing for these niggas, y'all read it and weep. I been fighting these niggas if you speak on the street. I turn your birthday party into New Year's Eve. Don't let me take it there. We ain't playing fair. This the ATL, Southside nigga moving furniture like Wayfair. Life on hold, no insurance for your healthcare. Lifeline gone, so you wanna be a millionaire? Well, let me tell you about this world I built. The women I dodged, the niggas that I read for filth. The sympathy calls, consulting for the stacks I built. I had to evolve.